For more on how the flooding is affecting Pakistan in so many ways, I sat down with the country's Foreign Minister, Bilwal Bhutto Zardari, at the United Nations here in New York. Foreign Minister, what is it like for you, your country, one-third of it being underwater, and this catastrophe that Pakistan has endured?
It is devastating, overwhelming, and heartbreaking. I've been in this line of work for quite some time now. I've dealt with monsoons, I've dealt with floods, I've dealt with various disasters. COVID, the COVID pandemic, I don't remember feeling this overwhelmed, even when we were having those debates about lockdown, not lockdown, and all those things. It always felt like, despite the sheer scale of things, there was a set script, there was a way to management. There is no handbook on what to do when a 100-kilometer lake forms in the middle of your country and ekes its way to the ocean, leaving 33 million people displaced. The resources that we have are not enough. The aid that we are getting, while incredibly generous, is still a drop in the ocean when it's compared to the sheer scale of the tragedy. I mean, imagine just overnight the population, more than the population of New York State, becoming homeless, needing food, clothing, shelter, medical supplies. It's going to end up being a humanitarian crisis for the history books.
And on top of this flooding, now you have waterborne diseases.
We have a domino effect of one catastrophe after another. So while we're still in the relief and rescue phase in a lot of areas, the water is still passing through our province. We're seeing an epidemic of waterborne diseases, so potential health crises. On top of that, because of the damage to crops, 4 million acres of standing crops destroyed, there's a potential food security crisis. And the cherry on top is that we just entered into an IMF, a deal with the IMF, and all our estimates, all their sort of plan going forward based on what we're going to import, what we're going to export, what we're going to sell, washed away with the flood. So we're staring at a potential economic catastrophe to top it all off.
Was the UN Secretary General right when he said that Pakistan is not only drowning in flood water but drowning in debt?
Yes, we've probably been drowning in debt before we were drowning in water, but it's just obviously the Secretary General of the United Nations has been incredibly kind. He immediately arrived in Pakistan, and I have to say I salute his leadership. He spent 2 days with me. We had our meetings in Islamabad, and I personally showed him around Balochistan and Sindh, Larkana, other areas that were devastated by the floods, and he's become our voice, our champion here at the United Nations, mentioning Pakistan in his speech and advocating not only for relief for the floods, but some sort of solution or respite as far as our economic woes or debt is concerned while we're dealing with this crisis.
And this week here at the United Nations, are you getting the help that Pakistan needs, the money that you need?
So this is a fantastic opportunity and is timed quite well for us to be able to be the voice of our people here at the United Nations and explain to people in the international community what's going on. And there has been a positive response from various countries that we've been engaging in, not just in immediate relief assistance, but really working with us going forward through the reconstruction, rehabilitation phase. And when we talk to international financial institutions, I believe that there are some countries that will support Pakistan's perspective in this difficult time.
Do you have any idea how long it will take Pakistan to recover from this devastating flooding?
So I think that in the next few months we'll start seeing people going back to what remains of their homes and that sort of thing. But for the proper reconstruction, rehabilitation, will take about a decade, as far as even, our sustainable development goals, our progress in tackling poverty. I mean, there's a whole host of things that have just been washed away by these floods.
Foreign Minister, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure.